Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the Daily Independent. The story here says, military action against Niger Coupists still possible, Tinubu. Military action against Niger Coupists still possible, Tinubu speaking, says Gabon pushists have confirmed his fear over copycats. Find the details of that story on the front page of the Daily Independent. And to the front page of the Nigerian News Direct, now still talking about military coups. Tinubu insists on exhausting diplomatic solutions to prevent more uprisings. Tinubu insists on exhausting diplomatic solutions to prevent more uprisings, says military intervention last resort, expresses hope on return to democracy in Niger. All the details on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. To the front page of this day newspaper now, Tinubu seeks the big stick against Coupists, Biya Kagame reshuffle military hierarchies. Tinubu seeks the big stick against Coupists, Biya Kagame reshuffle military hierarchies. Right, you find the details on the front page of this day newspaper. To the leadership newspaper now, coups, panic triggers mass retirement of military officers in African countries. Coups, panic triggers mass retirement of military officers in African countries. And you find the details on the front page of the leadership newspaper talking about Rwanda looking at, as well as Cameroon, reshuffling their commanders. All right, we move now to the Vanguard, still looking at the matter of coup scare. Sit-tight leaders move against their military. Coup scare. Sit-tight leaders move against their military. All the details on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Ibrahim.
Yes, the Punch newspaper is first with me here. Fear of coups. AU suspends Gabon as Cameroon, Rwanda retired generals, 1,000 soldiers. Fear of coups. AU suspends Gabon as Cameroon, Rwanda retired generals, 1,000 soldiers. That's the Punch newspaper there. The Guardian newspaper, democracy without elections. How emperor governors, ad hoc administrators collapse grassroots governance in 238 local councils. How emperor governors, ad hoc administrators collapse grassroots governance in 238 local councils. That's the Guardian newspaper talking about democracy without election. Daily Sun newspaper is next. Federal government suspends Nigeria Air, shuts old Lagos International Airport October 1st, orders foreign airlines to move to new terminal. Federal government suspends Nigeria Air, shuts old Lagos International Airport October the 1st, and orders foreign airlines to move to new terminal. Nature newspaper is next. NAGGW to reps probe panel will spend 3,866 naira to plant a tree in northern Nigeria. We spend 3,866 naira to plant a tree in northern Nigeria. That story has been generating a lot of ripples and reactions in the country. First news is next. Alleged funds diversion. Ogun Governor, Ijebu East, local government chairs spat worsens. Alleged funds diversion. Ogun Governor, Ijebu East, local government chairman spat worsens. Daily Trust is next. Palliatives. Rise price spike as federal government, state suppliers mop up markets. Rise price spike as federal government, state suppliers mop up markets. A lot of alliteration in this headline. Now, this Nigeria is next. Over 16 million Nigerians affected by humanitarian crisis. Minister Edu. Over 16 million Nigerians affected by humanitarian crisis. That's according to the Minister of Humanitarian, this Nigeria reporting there. And last but not least, Business Day, Naira back in free fall as $3 billion Afrexim Bank loan stalls. Naira back in free fall as $3 billion Afrexim Bank loan stalls. That's Business Day newspaper reporting there.
All right. Let's still look into the matter of the coups, especially the fact that we saw some African leaders already reshuffling their military formation. We saw in Rwanda what transpired. The president actually retired 12 generals, 1,000 soldiers. And in Cameroon, President Paul Biya also reshuffled his command. And then we know that for President Paul Biya, he has been there in power for 40 years now. And these are the issues that some experts have been saying are some of the reasons that are triggering what we are seeing happening in terms of the coups and the wave of coups going across Africa. And I'm wondering what this reshuffle could change. If you're reshuffling your military formation and all of it, how would that change? Whatever they want to plan, from my perspective, could happen. But beyond the reshuffling, I believe that African leaders need to begin to speak to themselves. They need to tell themselves the truth. Why are we having this situation? What is really triggering this issue? Yes, sanctions are necessary. We do not want military incursion. But what really are we not doing right that is triggering all of the wave of the coups, the revolt that we are seeing or witnessing across certain countries as it is? At some point, it was Anglophone countries, and now it's Francophone countries that are going through the coups now. But something has to be done, especially with regards to leadership.
Right. I think that stemmed from what we said a little earlier, that African leaders need to wake up. They need to ensure, because Africans are also waking up. With these convergence of the social media, people are getting to know what is happening in the developed world. And the fact that we're having brain drain, from not only Nigeria, from other parts of the countries, of the continent, moving to better, looking for greener pastures. They want something better for the country. And if this noise continues to generate lots and lots of reactions from people, then we'll tend to be seeing coups. But still, for me, I feel that coups are really not fashionable any longer. If there's anything we need to do, we should do it right. But you won't blame those who are already reshuffling their military might, retiring generals and 1,000 soldiers across Cameroon, Rwanda. It's just for them to forestall any kind of coup that will be staged against them. Remember, even in Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu also changed the service chiefs. They retired some, and even the presidential guard to that extent. That was not recently, though. No, I'm just saying, it's still recent. We're talking about 2023.
This administration.
Yes, we're talking about this administration. So, which is the normal thing to do. But I'm not saying because he was afraid of coup, because Nigeria has actually gone, I think we've grown beyond that, because the younger generations who are talking about coups in Nigeria, that there should be a coup because they feel that their mandate, so-called, inverted commas, mandate was stolen. I don't know what mandate was stolen, because there was an election and we got elected president, which was declared by INEC. So whenever they want to say, they will say a president given to us by INEC. INEC did not just come up and say they gave us a president. It's based on what we actually voted for. So there's that is one side of it. Another side of it is the fact that there have been 8 coups now in Africa since 2020, in the era of the COVID-19. What do we know so far? Niger, on July 26, 2023, they announced that they had overthrown President Mohamed Bazoum. General Abdurrahman Tiani becomes the new strongman of the country. In Burkina Faso, 2 puts in 8 months. Imagine just 2 coups in 8 months. January 24th, 2022, President Marc Christian Kabore was ousted from power by military lieutenant. Sudan, again, we know that on the 25th, 2021, soldiers led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan chased out the transitional civilian leaders. Then April 15, 2023, a war due to power struggle between General Burhan and his former deputy Mohamed Dogalo killed at least 5,000 people, and we saw Nigerians being evacuated from, Sudan. Guinea, September 5th, 2021, President Alpha Conde was overthrown by military coup. Mali, 2 coups in 9 months. All of these things are just, so troublesome and mind-boggling. August 18th, 2020, President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita was overthrown by the military. So now we are talking about Gabon. So we know that those who staged this coup were very close to the seat of power. They're close to the president, so it's easier for them to stage this coup. That is why the soldiers, the service chiefs in the country are warning the military to be loyal, to be patriotic to the cause of this nation. So you won't blame them, but then you will still blame some of this sit-tight, quote-unquote syndrome that we're having in Africa. So we just have to rise up and have a better continent to ourselves.
Absolutely. Paul Kagame has been praised for the development he has brought to Rwanda over the years after what we saw that happened in the
Rwanda genocide.
The genocide and all of that, how he was able to bring some stability to the country, ensure that the people saw themselves as one, as Rwandans, not Hutus and Tutsis, but that you are one, you are a Rwandan. That's the most important thing. And he has brought some level of development. We're talking about technology, tourism. There's so much that he has done.
And then you can't identify yourself as Hutu or Hutus or Tutsis.
And so the people seemingly appreciate him and want him. They want to have him there. It's just like when Nelson Mandela was alive, how the South Africans also wanted him to stay in power and all of the struggles, but he could just do the term he did, and he told them, you know what, I have to hands off now. But you see, for Paul Kagame, the people have accepted him. Why? Because he has brought so much development. When you talk about the dividends of governance, the people are seeing it. They can feel it.
That's right.
And they see themselves as one, which is one of the critical things to do as a leader. How are you doing this as leaders? When you talk about Paul Biya, we see what is going on in Cameroon.
Yeah.
The level of clashes and amongst the various localities, communities. We've seen that over the years. How is it trying to unify the people? How is it trying to bring the dividends of governance over the past 40 years? How are the people benefiting from his leadership of the country? These are critical issues.
A lot of lessons to learn, even
if you want to
within
sit tight, ensure the people are benefiting from your leadership. I don't think people will have issues with you.
Did you just say
tight.
If you want to sit tight?
If you want to, yes.
Yeah, there's no sitting tight any longer.
There's, of course, you are supposed to. They want a change, right? But that was why I mentioned Paul Kagame, what he has done, how it is that he's always been re-elected, because the people accept him and what he has done for the country. Just like I mentioned, South Africa.
But the longer I stay, the worse it's going to. The worse it's.
I believe that he would have to.
We saw what happened to Robert Mugabe.
I believe he would change, he would step aside when the time comes. And that has to do with the matter of the Constitution.
The Constitution.
So the Constitution has to be looked into. The people have to begin to speak now.
It has to be
if they have civil society groups,
Constitution.
Yes, they should put pressure on the parliaments to rework the Constitution, to do something about the Constitution. What people want is not much. Just give us the
dividends want to see that you are doing
good
what
governance, the dividends of democracy. You made a promise, deliver it. If you're having a challenge, speak to the people. They will understand. It's not difficult. Have conversations, open conversations with your people. They will understand and work with you.
That's right.
It's not much what people are asking.
So in all, I want to advise ECOWAS and the African Union to not see war as a last resort. They should still continue having conversation with these military leaders, because if you look at the closeness of all of these countries that coups have actually taken place, Nigeria seems to be somewhat in the middle of them all. The Guinea, Mali, contiguous, Niger, very close to Mali. Then you can walk through Niger into Chad and then Sudan. So Niger is very, right on top of Nigerian flag, and Chad is also, around the Nigerian flag, on the right side. So it means that if there is war, if there is a military intervention to restore constitutional order, we might see the beginning of the war. No one knows what the end is going to look like, because it will be easier for them to harness their resources, their mercenaries, with Prigozhin dead. We know that what's it called? Their group, the Wagner group. Yeah. They might also want to come in and help all of these countries, and it may be a sorry state at the end of the day. So it's better they get to the round table, have a conversation with them. How many months do you want to transit, power from your hands?
Right.